This chapter is told from the point of view of Lord Eddard Stark, the new Hand of the King. So here's what's going on. Jon Arryn, the last Hand of the King, suddenly died. And everyone says it was just illness. But Eddard Stark, the new Hand and a loyal friend of Jon, smells something fishy. In this chapter, he quietly begins investigating, trying to find out what really happened. He starts with the one man who was closest to Jon during his final days, Grand Maester Pycelle, the king's personal healer and council member. The heat in King's Landing is insane, and Ned's already sweating through his clothes when he meets Pycelle. The old man is polite, too polite maybe, offering cold milk sweetened with honey and talking about how hot summers used to be in his younger days. He rambles about past kings and citadel days, but Ned's not here for history lessons. He wants answers. When Pycelle finally gets to the point, he tells Ned that Jon Arryn hadn't seemed himself for a while. He was tired, melancholy, weighed down by the stress of his sickly son and anxious wife. At first, Pycelle assumed that was all it was. But now, he admits, he's not so sure. Ned asks how exactly Jon got sick. Pycelle explains. One day Jon came asking about a book, acting normal, though clearly something was bothering him. The next morning, boom, he was suddenly in bed, bent over in pain. Another maester, Coleman, thought it was just an upset stomach from iced wine in the summer heat. But Jon kept getting worse. Pycelle stepped in and eventually sent Coleman away, thinking his treatments were doing more harm than good.
That decision pissed off Lady Lysa, Jon's wife, and she's probably still holding a grudge. Ned keeps digging. Did Jon say anything important before he died? Pycelle thinks for a bit and remembers that Jon kept muttering Robert over and over, but he doesn't know if he meant King Robert or his son. And then, right before dying, Jon whispered something strange to the king and to Lysa. The seed is strong. After that, Pycelle gave him milk of the poppy to ease the pain. Jon passed away peacefully the next morning and never spoke again. Ned drinks the milk offered to him and tries not to gag. It's way too sweet. But his next question is sharp. Was there anything unnatural about Jon's death? Pycelle plays innocent. Unnatural? No. Death is natural. Sad, yes, but normal. Ned pushes more. Had Pycelle ever seen that kind of sickness before? Pycelle acts like he's seen everything. He's served under 4 different kings and claims every death is both unique and the same. Nothing suspicious, in his opinion. But Ned's not buying it. He brings up the idea of poison. That changes Pycelle's vibe. He gets real quiet and looks uneasy. Poison. That's disturbing. He admits it's possible, but highly unlikely. No signs of it. And besides, everyone loved Jon Arryn. Who dare kill such a noble man? Ned casually brings up that people say poison is a woman's weapon. That really makes Pycelle squirm. He agrees and throws in another classic Westeros line. It's also used by cowards and eunuchs. He even spits, as if the idea disgusts him. Then he throws shade at Lord Varys, the king's spymaster, calling him a spider who can't be trusted. Ned silently agrees. There's always something off about Varys. Ned thanks him for the talk and prepares to leave. But just before going, he asks about the book Jon was looking for right before he got sick. Pycelle says it's a boring old tome on noble family bloodlines, but he'll send it to Ned anyway. And then, with one last casual question, Ned asks if the Queen was at Jon's bedside. Pycelle says no, she and her kids had gone off to Casterly Rock with her father, Tywin Lannister, who came to King's Landing for Prince Joffrey's name day tourney. She wasn't even in the city when Jon died. Pycelle says he had to send her a raven himself, and it broke his heart. Ned remembers something old Nan once told him as a child. Dark wings, dark words. It means ravens usually bring bad news.
Pycelle shrugs it off and reminds Ned that the last raven brought good news, that Bran, Ned's son, had survived his fall. Ned agrees, but deep down he's still suspicious. As he's leaving, he thinks to himself, Pycelle claims to serve, but who does he really serve? On the way back to his chambers, Ned runs into his daughter Arya, practicing her balance on the tower steps. She's trying to stand on one toe like Syrio, her water-dancing sword trainer. Ned jokes with her, but then she asks if Bran will come live with them now. Ned tells her not yet. Bran still needs time to heal. Arya wonders what Bran will do when he grows up. Ned kneels down and tells her he'll find his own path, maybe rule a castle, join the king's council, or become a great builder or priest. But deep down, Ned knows the truth. Bran won't ever be the same again. He won't be a knight, won't run beside his wolf, or hold a child of his own. Arya still dreams big. She says she wants to be all those things herself. Ned smiles sadly and walks away. Inside, he changes out of his sweaty clothes and gets ready to meet someone. His guard Alyn announces a visitor, Lord Peter Baelish, a.k.a. Littlefinger. Ned agrees to see him right away. Littlefinger's waiting in the solar, watching the Kingsguard train outside. He's full of sarcastic comments, saying the only thing sharper than Sir Barristan Selmy's sword should be his wit. Ned keeps it serious and asks what Littlefinger wants. Turns out Baelish is here to help with Ned's investigation. He says he'd promised Catelyn, Ned's wife, that he'd help, and now he's delivering. But instead of evidence, he offers people, specifically servants who stayed behind after Lysa Arryn fled the capital. Most of Jon's household went back to the Eyrie with her, but a few minor folks stayed behind, a kitchen girl, a stable hand, a fired potboy, and Jon's squire, Sir Hugh of the Vale. That catches Ned's attention. Squires often know a lot, and Sir Hugh had just been knighted after Jon's death. Suspicious timing. Ned says he'll question him, but Littlefinger gets serious for once and tells Ned to look outside. He points out two men. One reports to Varys, the other to the Queen. Both are spying, and there are more. King's Landing is crawling with informers. That's why he hid Catelyn in a brothel. No one is safe, not even the Hand. Ned feels a chill. He hates this spy game stuff. Is everyone someone's informer in this cursed city? He says. Littlefinger jokes that almost everyone is. Even the king tells the Queen too much. He asks Ned if there's anyone he trusts completely. Ned says yes. Littlefinger laughs. Bad answer. You should have said no. Still, he tells Ned to send his most trusted man to investigate the squire and others. Ned himself is being watched too closely. As Littlefinger leaves, Ned finally thanks him and says maybe he was wrong to mistrust him. Littlefinger just smirks and says, "Distrusting me was the wisest thing you've done since you got here." And that's how this chapter ends. Ned is deep in a dangerous game, and he's only just beginning to see how many eyes are watching and how many secrets are buried in King's Landing.